Bleach does a lot of things right, from its stylish, mature character designs to its truly amazing first chapter and first arc that separates itself from its brothers in the Big Three, its astounding swordplay and well-choreographed fights that's all wrapped up and topped off with tight kubos, nuanced writing, and impeccable artwork, on top of housing one of the best arcs in a Shonen Jump's magazine, up there with the likes of the Frieza Saga, Sasuke Recovery Mission, Kyoto Arc, and Shogun Assassination, among others, respectfully. With this being said, it's no secret and it should be no surprise to anyone familiar with this series to see why it is a member of the Big Three. However, this isn't a video about Bleach's many accolades. With Bleach's return on the horizon, I thought I'd go back and revisit an old video of mine and remake it with my new microphone and improved editing. It was a video I really enjoyed making at the time, and I'd like my thoughts about this moment in particular to be known. So let's discuss what I believe to be one of the most important moments in Bleach and one of the most important moments for Ichigo Kurosaki as a character. To me, this is the cornerstone, the foundation that is built upon throughout the entire series. It gives us a look into the Kurosaki household, specifically its men, Ichigo and Ishin, and the impact that Masaki had on both of them. Considering this arc in question has been adapted twice, it's safe to say that everyone involved might have felt the same way, all things considered at the time, of course. So let's discuss the underrated Memories in the Rain. Memories in the Rain, as I've already stated, is important for many reasons that we will get into. But not only do I feel this way, what if we look at evidence provided? An entire volume is dedicated to this arc, Bleach's third volume to be exact, by the same name, Memories in the Rain. But if there's one issue I have with this volume, it's the cover itself. The character presented here is Orohime. I get it, there's no rhyme or reason to most manga covers, but I feel like giving the title, it would have been more appropriate for Kubo to draw either Ishin or Masaki on the cover, even Ichigo or Tatsuki to an extent, but I digress. The first thing we see is some words from Kubo, author's notes, which I think is very important, so let's take a look at it. Quote, I tend to get worried about the seasons in Bleach as opposed to actual seasons in real life. The series started in the summer, but at the time it was May in the book. That discrepancy has always bothered me. In this volume, the introduction of Ichigo, the main character, finally comes to an end. The setting is June. Unexpectedly, this all worked out quite well. If possible, please read this on a rainy night. End quote. Now, art is subjective, and how you interpret art is always up to the individual reader. To a lot of people, the fact that Kubo brings up his fixation on the changing seasons in Bleach would be nothing, but to me, I see it a little bit deeper. Changing seasons have always been metaphorical in stories. Now, I'm not going to go into every season and what they mean, but we'll address the ones Kubo mentions. Summer is usually equated to youth. It's not hard to see why. Summer is usually when school is out and young people are free to enjoy themselves, maybe get part-time jobs and enjoy pastimes, that kind of thing. It's kind of ironic that Ichigo is a youthful character and Kubo started the series during the summertime, but that has slightly less relevance than the other two, at least for now. Secondly, Bleach, at least at the start, as stated by Kubo, takes place during May, which is spring. It represents childhood, but more importantly, the start of a new beginning, and that could symbolize Ichigo's new beginning as a substitute Soul Reaper. And lastly, Memories in the Rain takes place in June, which is summer. However, summer is not only equated to youth, as I said earlier, but also optimism, hope for the future, or in Ichigo's case, a better future, as he's finally able to free himself from his self-imposed shackles. his guilt, but more on that later. As Kubo states, this is the end of Ichigo's introduction because we finally learn everything there is to know about him. He asked the readers to read this on a rainy night, if possible. Now, rain has many different meanings. I went over some of my Chainsaw Man video a while back, but I'm going to add 2 more on top of what I already spoke about in that video. By the way, if you like Chainsaw Man, go ahead and check that out. Rain symbolizes rebirth and introspection. Ichigo definitely has a quiet introspection and is born anew at the end of this arc. As for night, it symbolizes death and secrets, sometimes intuition. So let's put rainy and night together, and what do we have? Ichigo is revealing secrets to us, secrets that he had kept to himself for a long time, about his own personal feelings about his mother's death. But by the end of this journey, his intuition leads him to the truth as he reflects on his past. He has a moment of introspection. He's reborn into a stronger person because of it. This chapter opens up with a poetic quote. "If I were rain that joins the sky and earth that otherwise never touch, could I join 2 hearts as well?" It's these little nuances that set the tone and give the Bleach manga some extra depth that's missing from the anime. Not to say that the anime is bad, far from it, but it pales in comparison to what the manga has to offer. Now, this quote, I could interpret it a few ways. It could be Orihime and Ichigo slowly getting closer to each other in a subconscious sense, more so Orihime getting closer to Ichigo because in this chapter, Tatsuki tells her about Ichigo's past and the death of his mother, something that she had not known. And as we can see from the events in Bleach, Ichigo and Orihime have a romance that's built upon slowly but surely throughout the course of the series. It could also be interpreted as Ichigo and Rukia becoming closer because at the end of this arc, Ichigo confides in Rukia as he gains newfound power, newfound motivation to continue to be a Soul Reaper, or Ichigo and his father sharing a moment together over Masaki's death. These are the nuances that I'm talking about. Kubo is a genius, and I think that he's not given the respect that he deserves. Bleach in general isn't given the respect it deserves from a very vocal minority, but I digress. There's a bit of foreshadowing after this little quote, as Ichigo laments to himself, to us, the reason he protects his family, which will be made clear in this volume. We get to spend time with Ichigo. We learn a lot about him through visuals, through dialogue, not only through his own, but Tatsuki's as well. She and Orihime share a moment as she tells her about Ichigo's past, the reason why he stopped smiling. It's saddening the way she talks about it, like an old woman reminiscing about a somber past.
He was a happy kid because of his mom. But then when we were 9, she died. He didn't come to school that day, of course. I was kind of worried because no one seemed to know where he was or if he was okay. It seemed so unfair. No 9-year-old kid can handle that kind of grief alone. So I went looking for him everywhere I thought he might have gone. I finally found him by the river, right where his mother had died, just wandering around in circles. He'd crouch down when he got tired, then he'd get up and keep walking. For days I watched him. He did that from morning till night, like he was waiting for her to come back. I hated seeing him that way. The happy Ichigo was gone. How sad.
Ichigo is given a lot of room to grow and evolve. We get a glimpse of him at his most vulnerable. He isn't a hollow-killing hero from the previous episodes or chapters. He's just Ichigo Kurosaki, 15-year-old boy mourning the death of his mother, and for the past 6 years, he blamed himself for that, for her death. Ichigo at this moment reminds me of my favorite superhero, Spider-Man. As a fan of Spider-Man, I can't help but compare the two. Peter Parker has blamed himself for the death of Uncle Ben. It's his greatest failure and his greatest motivator. Not only Uncle Ben, but the death of Gwen Stacy. These are the things that keeps him going, keeps him in check. It's not too dissimilar to Ichigo blaming himself for the death of Masaki, and the conclusion his character takes at the end of this part of the story. To ensure no one goes through the same thing that he did, he continues to fight the good fight, just like Peter Parker.
You can't just ignore that she's in danger.
Hey, I'm trying to focus on what's important.
What's important is not standing by and allowing someone to suffer or die because you do nothing. If you don't get that, then you don't get the first thing about being Spider-Man.
You're the one who doesn't get it, Parker. The future depends on
My future is meaningless without her. If people I love are going to be in danger, then I need to be there to help them. I'm not alone in this, and I am not giving up who I am. With great power comes great responsibility.
Now, my favorite part of this whole arc, and the thing that my original video was about, was the exchange between Ichigo and Ishin. This is the first time we see Ishin serious. He strengthens Ichigo's resolve, helping him to overcome the guilt he feels about his mother's death, pushing him to continue his escapades as a substitute Soul Reaper. This is the first time we see Ichigo willing to put aside his own personal feelings and act, not out of convenience or just to protect the things he loves. No, Ichigo legitimately wants to continue being a Soul Reaper so that no one would ever have to deal with the sorrow of losing their parent or even loved one to a hollow. One conversation with his dad opened his eyes to a bigger picture and helped him beat something that he couldn't do on his own.
Why doesn't anyone blame me for causing Mom's death? It'd be so much easier to understand if you all blamed me. I can't take it! I can't!
Why should we blame you, Ichigo? If I were ever to blame you for having caused your mother's death, she'd never forgive me. It's no one's fault that she died. Sometimes in life, bad things just happen, and she knew that. That woman whom I loved so much was willing to give up her own life to protect yours. Be strong, Ichigo. Live well, grow old well, grow bald well, and then die long after I've died. And if possible, die with a smile on your face. Otherwise, I'll never be able to face Misaki. Try to shake off that gloom and depression, son. You're way too young to carry around such a heavy burden.
That's what I really love about these introductory episodes of Bleach. It's all about character, from Otohime's relationship with her brother Sora, to Chad and the cockatiel, and now Ichigo and his mother. Ichigo's final words are,
Are you listening, Rukia? I want you to let me be a Soul Reaper for a little while longer. I want to become strong, so I can continue to protect the innocent from hollows. I must become strong enough to defeat any hollow, especially this Grand Fisher. I can't face my mother again until I've killed him!
It's fitting that the arc ends on this note. Despite Ichigo not getting revenge on Grand Fisher, the point of Memories in the Rain isn't about revenge, and I love how Kubo perfectly illustrates this here. It's about forgiving yourself, accepting your failure, and striving to be better, stronger. That's not to say Grand Fisher doesn't get his comeuppance. He is killed later by Ishin, as it's revealed that Ishin is a Soul Reaper, just like his son, which only gives Memories in the Rain more depth than it already had, and implies that Ishin had always known Ichigo was a Soul Reaper, and he'd known about Grand Fisher and Ichigo's confrontation, his failure. So him taking out Grand Fisher himself felt a bit deserved. Sure, it would have been nice for Ichigo to do it, but it was a great reveal to the audience of Ishin's true identity, on top of him getting revenge for his wife and his son. This is what I like about Bleach, and I think it goes unappreciated. The world building. I love how Bleach seamlessly ties its world together with each arc, its lore so deep and interwoven. It's honestly almost on the level of Avatar: The Last Airbender. This is the turning point in Ichigo's character, and this moment is what influences all of his decisions going forward. It's expanded upon as it becomes a core part of his character. This is the reason why he puts his life on the line for Rukia, when he traverses Fueko Mundo for Orihime, or an even better example, helping the Soul Society when they're not only going up against Aizen, but also the Quincy Evasion Yuhabak. A common criticism of Ichigo's character is He has no goal, but I feel like this is a desperate attempt to find some way to slander Bleach and Ichigo as a character. Ichigo has a goal, and it's simple: to protect his friends and family. Ichigo's name literally means one guardian, just like other protagonists that people praise, such as Kenshin Himura and Gintoki Sakata. These three characters have one constant: they want to protect the people in their lives and maintain a somewhat normal life in the process. There are so many times Ichigo could have ignored the call to action. He pushes himself to do the right thing.
Take a deep breath, deep breath, deep breath, deep breath.
If you enjoyed anything I had to say, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. I'd really love to get to 5,000 by the end of the year, and we're already at 3,900, so thank you everyone for supporting me over these past 3 years, I believe. Leave a comment. It really does help out the channel. Let's discuss some of your favorite Bleach moments in the comment section below. Do you agree with my sentiments? Do you think that this is one of the most important moments in Bleach? And what's your thoughts on the introduction arc of Bleach? Did you love it? Did you hate it? And what are your overall thoughts on Bleach as a series? Are you excited for the 1,000-year Blood War arc? Anyway, that's enough of me going on. This is Grimtoki. This has been Beyond Animation, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Lie to the man, I aim high to the place no human has ever even tried. So I got to go, I got to go. All I want is for you to stay. Man, at a grave resurrected.